Hello and welcome to the Undateable Me Podcast. I am your host, the undateable Jimmy Lee Lard, the Sock Snob. And this is another episode of our weekly show that deals with the struggles of relationships and dating. But it's not just about the problems.
No.
We get down to the bottom of it. We're finding solutions and we're doing it in a very entertaining way while being vulnerable. All right. So I am back with Holly DaBeamer, who is in the building with us.
Yes.
All right. And in this episode, we are talking about hooking up, one-night stands, them hitter-quitters. Have you ever done a one-night stand? Let's go.
I see you hanging around, but I don't have much to say to you. Don't know what you're waiting for. Guess you think I'm playing with you. Ever since you walked out my door, I changed the locks on me. There ain't nobody getting I'm doing fine by myself, and I like it. I've been doing things by myself. You should try it. When we was together, how the bitch you had me gone. Now I'm by myself, and it feels good to be alone.
Come on.
Don't wanna be with you, but I'm gonna be okay. I kinda like myself. I kinda like myself. Don't wanna be with you, but I'm gonna be okay. I kinda like myself. I kinda like myself.
Holly,
Mm,
we're talking about hooking up,
hooking up.
one-night stands, fleeting encounters,
Oh.
passerby coochie. Well, so here's the thing. Dating means different things to different people, right?
Exactly.
Because for some folks, dating is just when you are in a relationship and you're building something, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But also, some people refer to dating as just
Okay.
okay.
And going about their business.
Jesus. Okay, I was gonna try and say that in a different way, but yes, you got right to it. So, so obviously, like I said, that's an important, or that's one route that people go when it comes down to dating, and I think we need to talk about it because there's some folks who are, you're out here, you're looking for Mr. Right or Mrs. Right. And then there are some people who are looking for Mr. Right now and Mrs. Right now.
Yeah.
So with so many apps and, online dating scenarios, I think that that's just one of those things that just is, and they're, tools now that make it easier to facilitate that. Because you can, on the app, basically say what your intentions are. Hey, I'm looking for something casual.
Right.
Or I'm looking for a long-term relationship. So we basically can put what we want out there and then have people respond to it. Now, that said, different people look at hooking up in different ways. Like some people look down on it or whatever. We do a lot of sex shaming out here in the world.
Sex shaming.
Right. Oh, sex shaming. Right. So how do you feel about hooking? I mean, I know you're married, so that's a whole other life for you, if it even existed, But we've been talking about throughout this series the whole phase and all of that stuff or what. I miss my whole phase.
You miss your whole phase?
I did not have a whole phase. So I think I missed out on something very important. During the time that I probably should have had a whole phase, I took some time to figure out what was what with me. Because, I was going down a path, very depressing vagina-filled path. And I got off that course. I got off the vagina course. I was snatched off the snatch course and ended up where I was supposed to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
Living my truth, as these people say in the streets.
Speak on it.
So I think that during that phase, because I didn't want to be one of the down low people, right? Oh, I have a song about that. Oh, maybe I'll play that for you guys. But I didn't want to be one of those down low people who it was, in a relationship with a woman and then out here sneaking off. I think that can be dangerous because you might put yourself in some unhealthy situations that you would not otherwise have to do.
Right.
Because you all don't know about that other life where these dudes are out here in these parks and alleys. You don't know about the parks and video rooms, all that stuff. You don't know about that.
Video
so
rooms, no.
Leave it alone. Okay. So, so there is a whole other world that exists for the download folks, the trade, as we call them on our side, the trade.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and like I said, unfortunately, it can lead to some more dangerous practices. Whereas if you were open with your sexuality or whatever, you could be in possibly better situations that are better controlled and things like that. So I never wanted to do that. So what I did, I said, you know what? Until I figure out what's going on with me, I'm just going to sit back and not do anything, right? And so that was my path, and
and that was supposed to be the whole phase that you were supposed to be going through.
What I'm saying is that I think that time period is where my whole phase would have lived.
So you replaced your whole phase
thrived.
Self-journey.
Yes, a journey of self-improvement and discovery. But as I look, I mean, I wouldn't change anything. It is what it is, but
who said that has to be over with? Like, who says you have to put a time limit on your whole phase?
That is,
you found yourself?
My knees.
Yeah. Okay.
my knees say, you've been through enough. This big back say, your whole phase over, right?
Coulda, woulda.
Right. You had your chance. So until you unbig this back. But no, I think that it was during that time, probably because there is a period in everybody's life where there's sort of like sexual discovery or whatever.
Right.
Sometimes it comes as a result of something. Maybe you had a big breakup. You had that first high school sweetheart. Then he or she breaks your heart. So now you out here in these streets.
Say it again.
In these streets. So I think that for me, that's probably where I would have been in that probably would have been the time period that would have taken place. But I didn't have that. So I was too busy, being responsible and because I was always the responsible one, right? And then I was raising a child and so on, right? So I didn't have that whole phase, the hooking up and all of that. So I guess I should ask you, did you have, I won't say a whole phase, but did you have instances in your life where it was suitable in that moment for this wasn't somebody you knew you would be spending the rest of your life with, but you know what? We're going to get down and whatever. So asking you basically, have you ever had one of those situationships, not a relationship, but have you had some, hey, this ain't about love. This is not about longevity. Yeah. This is just we getting it in and then, hey, maybe we'll get it in again. So it might not necessarily be a one night stand, but the focus of this is not a relationship.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
Damn, you said that like, hell yeah, I did.
Yeah. Because, sometimes you can get with somebody and be like, oh, yeah, this person ain't about shit. I'm going to just fuck this person for the time being because I don't want to really fuck nobody else. But then after that, like. Yeah,
and you did say in one of our episodes that, because I had mentioned, some people go from relationship to relationship. Mm-hmm. So do you think that maybe that could have driven some of that there was a filler maybe?
Yeah, because I didn't necessarily have a ho-ho phase or even I didn't necessarily have a whole phase because I was in relationships.
Yeah.
But I think like what really scared me was like the STDs and
baby.
like, yeah.
Baby, listen.
That worries me to death.
Yes.
Like, okay, yeah, you use a condom or whatever, but it's just not the same.
Listen. Remember in grade school, and I'm a little bit older than you, but when I was in grade school, they put the boys in one classroom and the girls in another classroom, and they show you videos and they talk to you about whatever, right? And they show you the herpes and they show you the syphilis and the gonorrhea and the AIDS. The AIDS, I was like, oh no, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
Right? So I took it seriously. I was like, oh no, so I didn't even understand the amount of unprotected sex that people had when all of my friends, when they would say stuff like, yeah, I'm pregnant, I'd be like, how though?
Bitch, you didn't go to the class?
Right. Bitch, I saw you in the class, across the hall. I was like, oh, they must not have had the same conversations with y'all that they had with the boys, right? So that was always a big fear of mine, probably to my detriment too, because I probably should have been in more situations, and I may have limited myself in that way because of that fear. I don't want to catch nothing.
Yeah,
I want it. I don't want it.
Nothing worse than that motherfucking nurse coming back telling you, oh yeah, such, because you feel so dirty. You feel you roll and just scream out like it was not me. Like, the motherfucker I was fucking with ain't shit.
Right. Yeah.
So that kind of scares you away. I won't necessarily say I've never had a one night stand, but like you talk to motherfuckers, you be like, oh okay, I'm gonna fuck this person, and you fuck with that person, and then you just be like, oh yeah, I ain't fuck with that person anymore after if it's trash or whatever, and then you just don't speak to them no more. Yeah.
I was never so let me say this. I'm a relationship person.
Mm-hmm, me too.
And so that's where I thrive. That's where and also sex is not as important to me as it may be for another person, right? So because I thrive off of the bond that we're creating. I'm thriving off of doing things and building something together, all of that. Not necessarily off of trying to break somebody's back or whatever. So that said, I was never into hookups and stuff like that. Never really fascinated me. Have I hooked up? Maybe.
We'll call it a phase, maybe situations, whole situations.
Not with an S. You acting like I was out here. I was not out here. So I may or may not have had, I can only think of one that was a true, met somebody, let's go do this, and then let's keep it moving or whatever.
Right.
The most part, it was, now not saying that it wasn't a situation where there were only a few times in and we just decided, hey, this ain't for us, or maybe we're not going to work out, or it just fizzled out,
right. Didn't really probably like that person
right,
for real,
exactly.
For real. Yeah.
So, but as far as an intentional, hey, we just doing this, I can only think of one. So.
Because you do have some people that wake up with that mindset of, oh, I'm finna go out here and fuck somebody.
Yes. They exist. I'm not that person.
Yeah. I'm not saying I'm innocent, but it's just not in me.
Yeah. And I mean, it is what it is as far as I'm concerned. Like I said, people thrive in different areas. So for some people, if sex is really important to you and you're not in a relationship, well, you got to get it from somewhere then, you know. Another thing, I think there is we look differently at men versus women, and I don't think that's right. So a man, his old nasty, so he just out here, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Woman, oh, she a hoe. What, you know what I mean? And even the term hoe phase or whatever, we don't even really get that really speaks more to women relationships or situationships than men, honestly. Men, they'll call him a dog, but they're going to call her a hoe.
Right. I think that the definition of it is different for everybody. Because what my whole phase definition might be different from your whole phase.
Right.
Because I think people like to mix and screw dating and like a fucking.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I can date several people. That don't mean I'm a hoe.
Right.
Because what is the definition of a hoe?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So.
Well, actually, when it comes to being a hoe, that's when you selling it. And by the way.
Prostitution.
Listen, God knew who to give the good bodies to and who not to. Because if he had gave it to me.
He'd get to you, Jimmy.
It'd be on the market. I be at, let times ever get hard, I'm selling bussy. I'm gonna be out here.
They gonna pay for it.
My bussy gonna be what is it? OnlyFans?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's gonna be a post. Now listen, my thing is this. What did Kenya Moore say? If I'm gonna be a whore, I'm gonna be the best goddamn whore ever, right? Mm-hmm. So y'all would see mine on billboards. That's how, listen, okay? Because if I'm going to make money off of it, I'm going to do it right. But no, I just, like I said, I never really had that interest in just hooking up.
Okay.
And, obviously there's nothing wrong with one way or another, but that just wasn't me. And I also didn't have a string of people in and out of my life either,
Right.
Like I said, I would prefer to build something with one person rather than entertaining a bunch. First of all, I had, for a good chunk of a good period of time, I had my son, and I wasn't going to be parading people in and out while he was there anyway. So I just, held back a little bit, faded back, and I was like, you know what? My whole phase gonna come. No, just I was looking forward to it, and it just never fizzled out. It just never quite happened,
Yeah.
So I don't know, and
you still might have a chance. You just never know.
Ooh, like I said, these old knees say otherwise. But and I've considered it, and there's nothing. I always say this, and a lot of people, when I have something like a podcast called Undateable Me, or if I mention that, looking for love or whatever, a lot of people will say, oh, well, why don't you just whatever? And they always allude to like a hookup situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, that's not what I'm. Listen,
for.
let me tell you something about me.
Tell them.
If I wanted it, I can have it 10 minutes after you leave here today. Because I can get them over here.
Right.
If I just wanted it, right? That just has not ever really been me.
Right.
I prefer now I can be a freak if we need to in a relationship. Okay? But as far as just out here putting it out for the block.
Right. But that goes back to you really liking a person. Like I don't think I don't have my best sexual experience unless I really like that person. That person really knows me, and I'm able to elaborate to that person what I like, and then I'm able to get from that person like what they like.
Yeah,
because then that makes me that just makes the sex better.
Yeah, and the other thing is I have to think about where I am in life and where other people in my same situation may be. I'm 47 years old. And I'm not doing the stuff that I was doing at 27.
Exactly.
I've had my club days. I've had my partying. I've thrown better parties than some clubs might have.
Yes, we have.
So I've gone through that phase. Not saying that I'm done throwing parties. Let me be very clear on that.
No Diddy parties.
No, I ain't got no problem with a Diddy party.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm joking. People, I keep, all these people denying being at a Diddy party. Say you were there. They look like they were good parties.
Yeah.
Now, I think what it is that, and obviously I don't have this problem. I think people are afraid of being associated with being gay or something like that.
Right.
Look, I could have went to a Diddy party. You invite me to the hot tub. Let me in the jacuzzi. Hey, Diddy, shit, wouldn't have bothered me. But of course, like I said, hey, I'm gay, so I don't have that situation. But
yeah,
I don't know. Situationships. And what I mean by situationship is just, this was a hookup that turned, that just kept going on and on. And sometimes people will end up in situationships that last way too long. Like you knew from the start that this was just a hookup or whatever.
Yeah.
But you then at some point caught some feelings in the process. And that's how a lot of babies have been made, by the way, as well. Right? It was never intended to be a relationship. It was supposed to be, sometimes what we do is we try and apply relationship standards to these hookup situations.
Oh, say it again. That's deep. People need to really think about that. I
can't say it again because I can't quite remember exactly what I just said. But yes, that some people apply relationship standards to hookup situations, right? And they turn into, before you know it,
I hate that bitch.
Well, there's
that.
that.
Nigga ain't shit.
it turns into now we got a pregnancy. So now I'm stuck with this person at least for the next 18 years as we raise a child together.
Yeah.
It's blocking you both from who you probably should have been with or opportunities to be with someone else. So those situationships, I learned something a long time ago, and I'm about to give y'all some $1 million advice that I think everybody can benefit from. And this does not just apply to relationships. This applies to career situations, any opportunities in life, anything that you're going through that is not working out the way that you thought it would or should, and it's something that needs to end. One of my best friends on this planet, A.L. Brown, hello, how are you? Years and years ago gave me some of the best advice I've ever gotten, and I apply it to so many different situations. And it was just 2 simple words that he said, and it was fail faster. Fail faster. When you have something that you know is inevitable, don't let it just linger on. And I actually know somebody right now who has been breaking up with their person for years.
It's sad.
You know what I mean?
Draining.
And I'm not saying that the minute things get stressful or the minute things are out of control, you just throw in the towel. I'm out this bitch, right? No.
But when it's not working.
Yeah, when you know that, and like I said, that's how those before you know it, in the middle of your 5-year breakup, you've had 2 kids and, now you got a mortgage because you no, fail faster. If you know it is inevitable that it is going to end. And by the way, I've known people who have gone on with stuff for way more than 5 years, for a decade. They've been sleeping in separate bedrooms for 8 years and stuff like that. Like, if y'all don't end this shit and move on.
Yeah, because now it's hindering you as a person.
Yep. So I would rather go ahead and admit, hey, this didn't. I've actually known people who got married and immediately after the wedding said, when I say immediate, I'm not saying like 5 minutes, but like, the honeymoon is over. Yeah. It's been a couple months and I should have married him or her or whatever. And I remember saying, leave. You are worried about what people are going to, they were only married for 2 months. I don't give a damn. I was going to be nice. Mm-mm. We ain't going to ever get no fucking sponsorship.
It's okay.
With our language on this bitch.
But
unless there's a company out here that sells fucks, we ain't going to get no sponsor. Anyway, so, but I remember in fact, I can think of 2, I just thought of another person, but I remember they were complaining to me about the wife they had just married and the things that she was doing and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, cut it off. Mm-hmm. End it. Right?
Please.
Because it is inevitable that this is going to end. Right? They did not. And let me tell you, they were divorcing longer than they were married. You know what I mean? Yeah. They were breaking up longer than they were happy. So they were literally a couple months in, both of them, by the way, knowing that this ain't going to work. It's not right, whatever. And rather than taking the shame of people saying, and if that's the case, go get divorced. You ain't even got to tell your distant relatives or whatever, You just, Rayshawn just ain't here no more. Right. Where's it?
Show up to the barbecue.
Make up some shit. Right. He got deployed to Afghanistan. They'd be like, I didn't know he was in the army. Oh, well, he is now. Goddamn it. Whatever, right? So, like I said, people will find themselves, and that's, like I said, the biggest area that happens with is those situationships, things that should have never, ever become a relationship in the first place. You should have got that D Got that little community peen.
Mm-hmm.
But no, you want to sit here and try and, turn the community peen into a good old husband, Well, he just got, he be under stress. That's why he with all the other girls. So I don't know shit,
But you're right, though.
Yeah.
And God be showing you time after time.
Oh.
You just fighting to keep whatever it is together when God himself has come down
let me tell you something.
Stop.
You just said God, will try and show you. Here's the funny thing. Sometimes that person will show and tell you.
Yes.
But we'll dismiss it. They'll, Maya Angelou, and I know this has been like overly quoted, but I remember when she first said it, I was listening. She was like, people will tell you who they are and then we'll dismiss it. They'll say something like, well, you know me, I be lying or whatever. You don't be lying or what? Like, what the fuck? He just told you, right? So I just said, fuck again. We ain't getting no sponsorship. So y'all support my channel. Y'all make sure.
But we gonna need it.
Y'all get a membership because we ain't getting no kind of sponsorship nowhere. So, and by the way, for members, I show my titties.
Ooh.
So that's an extra perk of membership. You get to see these titties, So, but anyway, like I said, there's some situations that should have never happened. And not only does God show you that, this is not, since you ain't listening to him,
mm-hmm.
Why not listen to the person you in a relationship with that's telling you they ain't shit?
Yeah.
Baby, don't say that. Or there's
think a motherfucker playing.
Right.
But because you lonely or because you want it, like
come
you
back
say,
to your mic, baby. Come back to your mic. She done got comfortable, y'all.
Y'all.
She done laid back in her chair. Mike 3 feet from her face.
But you're right. People get comfortable and people are so afraid of what other people gonna think.
Yeah.
I've never been that way. I don't give a fuck what you think. I don't care.
Now,
I don't care.
Do you even have to ask if I care about what people think? Shit. I care about what you think about me as far as I can throw a fucking house.
Yeah, because you don't live my life.
They're going to make me with the F-bombs. You all, because, wait, let me say this before we go on. And remember whatever you just said. I know that there are a lot of people from different walks of life who watch this show or who listen to this podcast. I drop F-bombs every now and then. So for those of you who are saved and sanctified, let me reassure you that it's okay. There is nothing in the Bible. I promise you.
Amen.
There is nothing in the Bible that says you can't cuss. Now, it says don't curse people. That's some, all you done to me, already done to you.
Till you do right by me.
Right, until you do right by me. That's a curse. The Bible don't say nothing about cussing. Now, go in there and find it. Now, and I remember one year, my church, we read the Bible from beginning to end. It took us a year to do it, but we did. And you know what I didn't see in there? Anything about cussing. It's not there. So if God ain't got a problem with me cussing, I don't want you to have a problem. Now, I want you to feel welcome to enjoy our programming.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to understand that every now and then, Holly's going to say some shit, right? I, on the other hand, as you all know, am quite innocent, and I don't say such things, right?
But we are genuinely ourselves.
Oh, that's all we can be. Listen, about being genuinely yourself, I could never be. I'm this at work. I'm this on the street. I don't have different versions of me. Now, don't get me wrong. At work, and my language doesn't change far from this. Now, when I'm at work, obviously I have to be a little bit more professional, but I don't really have to code switch, as they say.
Right.
Because this is just it. I don't have time to be a different person every time you turn a corner. Every time I turn a corner. Because I turn too many fucking corners. So there we go. No sponsorship. Support us. So I can't be nobody else. And that includes in a relationship. I don't need you 6 months in finding out things about me you didn't know and all this stuff. And let me tell you, that is a thing. That is a real, not necessarily a fear, but that is a thing that I even go into a relationship saying, until we are married, I'm checking you out to see if we can build a life together,
what you
right?
like in all your seasons.
And let me tell you, you can hide a crack habit or a drug habit, period, for a long time.
Yeah.
I know people who have. I ain't gonna tell you. When this is over with, I'll tell you who, because even though he's passed on now. But anyway, but there are folks who can hide a drug habit for a year, 2 years, right?
Yeah.
So I need to see you in a bunch of different phases and seasons or whatever. Right. Now, don't get me wrong. Now, my discernment is on point. So I can pretty much sense an asshole or issues with a person right up front. It don't take me like when we say fail faster. Oh, I realize this ain't gonna work. This ain't gonna work. Like just like when I left that person at the restaurant. So, but we'll leave that alone. We ain't gonna bring up the dentist no more. Well, boy Frank. Don't know what I'm talking about. Go back to check out our previous episodes about boy Frank.
That's
okay.
That was
right. That was a little bit too much. Ooh, we ain't gonna never get no sponsorship. Damn. Oh well, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But remember, we're gonna have these titties are available in our community. All right. So, any final thoughts on hooking up, situationships, one night stand? Now, one night stands, you said now that wasn't necessarily your life. Like I said, I did have one. I met somebody. I was trapped. Why am I telling y'all this? I need to get y'all out of my business. Something is wrong.
Yeah, we want to hear about this one. Because traveling sounds good. Like you can travel somewhere and you
Yes. So I was traveling. I'm trying to think of when this was. All right, I'm not going to tell when that was. People could narrow down some details here. But anyway, but I was traveling and I met someone at the airport. And then coincidentally, we were staying at the same hotel.
That was your first time meeting that person?
This is my my one and only fleeting encounter.
Mm.
And we got together and I never saw that person again. Ever.
That's considered a one night stand, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what I'm saying. This was a fleeting encounter, a passer in the night. This was somebody I just happened to bump into. We were both on the same flight. We were both seated near each other. And it was like, almost like, okay, this is weird. Or what, I keep bumping into you or whatever,
right.
Y'all
didn't get each other's numbers?
Nope. I couldn't tell you this person, sponsorship. I couldn't tell you this person's name. I can barely remember what he looked like, but.
Is it exciting? Because maybe the reason why people have like these type of flings or one night stands is because it's a little.
Yeah. And it was because, of course, you don't know people, right? And I'm a city boy, a hood boy from the west side of Chicago. I know I don't always act like it, but I am, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let me tell you something about black men from hood situations. They don't trust nobody. It's all. Let me tell you, they walk around, and this is not necessarily me. I'm just saying in general, particularly heterosexual men. So your husband probably has this trait. They looking to figure out what somebody owns. Oh, he on that bullshit. Look at him. Mm-hmm. Oh, why he drive around this block twice or whatever.
Yeah.
They will notice shit like that you be walking down, get hit in your head.
Because you ain't paying
right.
Me.
But a hood dude is going to be like, they suspect everything. Like, ain't that the same car that just drove? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Stuff that we wouldn't even notice, right?
My husband asked me too when we first started dating or hooking up. You ain't trying to set me up as you want.
Yeah,
like,
see them trust. Jordan, can you hear me? See them trust issues in that? No. So So there's always that. And then what perpetuates that, like hookup situations for me. So we talked about the whole STD thing, because I don't want none of your herpes,
At all.
any of that, right? But then we got the Jeffrey Dahmer thing.
Which takes it farther.
So now I got to worry about
Being
if
unalive.
you are a psycho and you're going to kill me after or whatever.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. Let me tell you this. You're not going to kill me.
You say
You're not gonna, if one of us got to die,
It's
I'm
gonna
going to make sure it is not me. Okay? So let me be very clear about that. Now, we did, our short film series, The Letter.
Yeah.
Remember who the character that played your nephew in there? Remember, he died because of a hookup situation, if you remember. So when she was doing the news report at the end, she was talking about there was this guy who had been sleeping with guys using a dating, a hookup app, and whatever. Because that's a real thing. Let me tell you something about this weird thing with people, especially, and overall homophobia in our community, how we deal with gay people and stuff like that, or just different things, period, how that contributes to that. There's some people who are so ashamed of what they're doing that we can't let this get out or whatever. Or if there's even an inkling of it getting out, then you are now in a dangerous situation,
Right. Because
so
you don't want that person to hurt you.
Right.
Because they feel threatened.
And it goes both ways. You then have folks trying to out people and stuff like. Let me tell you something. Let me face this way. Let me sit up in my seat. Is the mic positioned properly? Let me say this. My inbox over the years could end some marriages.
Oh, talk about it.
I'm not going to talk about it in too much detail. My conversations with folks at parties, people who have reached out to me after I came out, the number of folks who have reached out or, seen me out and tapped me on the shoulder and said, hey, you know what, man, it's the same with me, but I just can't do it. I'm, they're in too deep or whatever, But here is the thing. I'm not going to out anybody.
Yeah.
I think that people should be given the grace to
do it themselves.
To do it themselves at their own pace when they feel comfortable and safe doing it, So I would never do. And let me tell you, there are people, hey, Melanie, who have been trying to get me to share the names of these folks, these pastors and deacons, by the way. I'm going to leave that alone. But,
oh my God.
And married folk and so on. She has been trying to get me to give the names or to share the DMs or whatever.
Maybe
but
if they
I would
subscribe
never do that.
maybe if they subscribe to the Sock
Now,
Snob.
listen, there are things that I will say in our community that I will not say on here. Right. But anyway, that, we'll just leave that alone. But I would never out anybody like that,
Right. Because there's a lot of that going on in
it
society.
Is. And it's dangerous. You have people who are committing suicide because of the quote unquote pressures of being gay or embarrassing their family or whatever and so on. So, it's a very real thing. So, it is what it is. But I think we have exhausted this topic probably as much as we need to. So I just want to thank you, of course. I know one more thing. I said, and this is what we'll go out on. Remember I told you that I said I have a download song. Nobody ever knew it was a download song. So years ago, I was a part of a record label years ago, and this was a song I had before I joined that label. And don't worry, my career never went anywhere. I'm not trying to impress that on you. But I had some good songs along the way. So I'm actually going to play this song for you. And I want you to listen to the words to it. It's so funny because during that time I was still quote unquote straight acting and all of that dumb shit. Oh, I wasn't really. I was acting just like this then, by the way. Right. That never changed. So if your dumb ass didn't realize I was gay, that was just on you. I'm just playing. Anyway, so But so I had this song. Nobody ever like questioned it. I was like, y'all not really listening to these lyrics. It's saying, I'm going to say these lyrics before I play it, but it says, bounce with me, let's go away. You go on 2, I'll go on 3. In other words, we can't go together, right? No, and it says, nobody has to see us leave. You be discreet and I'll be discreet, whatever. I'm saying whatever. Nobody ever caught on or whatever. That's what
I still wouldn't have caught on.
Right? Really?
No.
So what else?
Me and Jordan do that. We'd be like, we finna fucking hear it. Yeah, you going to the bathroom. Oh, I'm finna there.
Okay. I was not expecting that.
You'd have to put a little more stuff in there.
Right.
But you writing it and you know where you're coming from.
And I would say stuff like, hey, you can't tell your friends what's happening. You got to keep this on the low and all of this stuff or whatever. Because basically, I took it from the standpoint of, look, do you know who I am? I can't have my business out here in these streets, But really, it was a down low song. Nobody ever caught on. So we are going to go out to that song. It's called Bounce With Me. It's on our Connection, one of the bonus tracks on our Connection album. So I will play that. And then we will see you next week. Thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget to subscribe.
We don't play those games. Don't just say my name. If you not want to say your name, walk away if you can be discreet with me. But if you can't, let's burn. Won't tell that when we leave the bar, we'll take every car. Come to the DoubleTree, room 603. I have the champagne and chocolate ready. You can't tell nobody, I'm not just anybody. And don't you tell your friends what's been happening. We gotta keep this on the low. Walk away if you can't be discreet with me. But if you can, let's burn. Ah.